its core, Portal is a simple game. There's only a few mechanics. There's placing portals, there's walking, there's jumping, and there's grabbing things. But what if we couldn't grab things? A staple of Portal is placing cubes on buttons. But what if we couldn't place cubes on buttons? So that begs the question, can you beat Portal without grabbing anything? The rules of this challenge are simple. No glitches, no cheating, and no picking things up. That's all of the rules. Let's go. We start with Chamber 0, the first chamber and our first roadblock. Usually you would just pick up this cube and put it on the button, and then you're done. We can't do that here, but there's a mechanic in Portal that is almost completely useless unless you're doing this challenge. We can push things. Great, right? So we push the cube over to the button, and then we hit our second roadblock of Chamber 0. This button is slightly off the ground, and the cube refuses to get onto the button. But we can tilt the cube by crouching off the edge of it, or crouch jumping right next to it. And that tilt barely lets us beat Chamber 0 with no grabs. Chamber 1 is more of the same, we just need to tilt this cube and do some more button shenanigans. In Chamber 2, we finally get the portal gun. But does picking up the portal gun count as a grab? I'm gonna say no, because we have it permanently after this, and it's not like other grabs where we just pick the thing up and put it back down. The run continues. Besides that, there is nothing else to grab in this room. Chamber 3 does not have anything to grab. Chamber 4 also requires us to put a cube on a button, but this time I figured out that I could just use a portal to get the cube on the button without any shenanigans involved. Chamber 5 just requires some more push shenanigans. I tried to get the 2 cubes to fall onto the buttons from the ceiling, but it didn't work because they fell too fast and just rolled straight off the button once they hit it. Chamber 6, 7, 8, and 10 all have nothing to grab, and Chamber 9 just requires some simple shenanigans. In Chamber 11, there's nothing to grab, but now our portal gun can shoot orange portals. Chamber 12 has this cube I thought would be very hard to get on the button, but once I realized I could just backtrack to another portal surface, it was easy. Chamber 13 has a room that is easily skippable by just standing on the button yourself and putting a portal on the other side. And the second room has 2 buttons, but we only need 1 cube because we can just stand on the other button and put a portal in the exit room. Chamber 14 is easily skippable by just using momentum to get to the exit. And Chamber 15 has nothing to grab. Chamber 16 just requires some precise portal placements. In Chamber 17, you have to use the cube to jump onto these ledges to progress further in the level. We can't do that because we can't pick up the cube. We can try pushing the cube, but that'll only get us up the first ledge, and we can't bring it up to the ledge with us because we can't pick it up. So can you beat Portal without grabbing anything? No. As far as I know, you have to grab the cube to progress in this area. But hey, the question, how many grabs does it take to beat Portal, has not been answered yet. So I'm gonna put a grab counter in the bottom right, and the run continues. By grabbing the companion cube 2 times, we can make it up these 2 ledges and continue in the level. First, we bring the companion cube over to this room, and redirect the energy ball so that it goes in the collector thing. We have to put the cube on this button because behind this door there is a collector which is opened by the button. We have to use portals to get an energy ball into the collector. Finally, we can just put a portal here and then we'll be done this section. Finally, we've reached the incinerator room. We can use portals to get the cube to the incinerator room, and we can just use shenanigans to get the cube onto the button. The issue is getting the cube actually in the incinerator. No matter what I tried, I just couldn't get it to go into the incinerator. it just wouldn't get enough height. So I'm afraid that that's another grab added in Chamber 17 alone. Well, that was kind of depressing. Hopefully Chamber 18 doesn't have any more things we need to grab. Chamber 18 is incredibly simple until we reach this room. First you have to kill the turrets with the ball, easy enough, and then you have to lead the ball into this collector, easy enough. You go over to this platform, easy enough. Then you use momentum to get up to a platform with a cube. But now we need to bring the cube back over to the main platform. I tried pushing the cube onto the moving platform, but it just didn't get enough distance to get on the moving platform. I tried a few more times, but with no luck, so I'm gonna say that this chamber is impossible to do without picking up the cube and bringing it over to the main platform. After that, Chamber 18 is incredibly easy as there is nothing else to pick up. And finally, Chamber 19 has nothing to grab. But if you've played Portal before, you know that Chamber 19 isn't the end. It's time to see if we can beat the escape sequence without any grabs. The escape sequence went flawlessly, with no roadblocks, so that means it's time for the GLaDOS fight. I went into the GLaDOS fight thinking there would be no more grabs because you can put portals on the entirety of the floor, so it should be easy to get the cores in the incinerator, right? The morality core went in the incinerator no problem, but the curiosity core just wouldn't budge. It just stayed in its little spot. I tried falling onto it, I tried pushing it, it just wouldn't. So eventually I gave up and just picked it up. Another grab added to the counter. But that wasn't the end of my struggles. The fact core had the same problem as the curiosity core. It just wouldn't move. Another grab on the counter. Thankfully, the anger core dislodges by just touching it. So, with GLaDOS destroyed, I know that it is now possible to beat Portal with only 6 grabs. I'd like to thank Neverending Flame 42 for making me want to do a Portal challenge run. Also, this score could probably be beaten by some obscure mechanic or someone who is better than me in video games. If this video does well, I'm for sure gonna do a Portal 2 minimum grabs as this was incredibly fun. Next, you should watch this video where I played a better version of chess. Maybe even subscribe if you like this video.